Good day, everyone. This is Piney's Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and here at DDO Players. And please welcome my co-host from Ravenloft, Draculetta.
Who's breaking the show already, apparently.
Yes, and you've broken it more than one way because it looks like you have opened the floodgates for guests tonight.
I did.
First off, we have our old friend, Lissa.
Hi! Surprise! I'm in the floodgate!
Yes. And also, please welcome our community manager.
Hello?
Hello, yes.
Sorry.
Hey, you kind of cut off there, finally.
Yeah, it's fine. Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Cordovan. Lessa, so you were like Geordie LaForge, you just like rolled under the door as it was closing there.
I did.
I was worried about it. I was sweating it for a moment.
I didn't know that Cordovan was going to be here, but now that I see he is here, let's talk about the invisible stalker that you're going to give me.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No problem.
Oh, well, hold it. Let's
Perks
first
of the
talk
job.
about this. Then we'll see about this. So what is it about invisible stalkers?
Well, there's a contest in the forums that all you have to do is to reply
Character
to
name and
Cordovan's. Yeah, exactly. Your name and your server, reply to Cordovan's thread. He's going to pick some people at random. And he needs an extra one now because of me, obviously, because I just literally asked for one. And he's going to give away some invisible stalkers as a pet.
Yeah.
So you can have an invisible pet following you around. I have an invisible pet following me around right now.
Nice.
In real life.
That's an invisible stalker. How would you know you have one if it's invisible?
You
Well,
can see its name. Also, if you give it a top hat, then you'll have a floating top hat running behind you.
All right, now that's cool.
Yeah. So the basic story behind this is we created this in the development sort of zone. Was it either last April Fool's or the April Fool's before that? But we weren't, just sort of because of various reasons, we weren't able to get it out in time. And so it just kind of sat unused for a while. And then when people were digging through our creature companions recently, like, hey, whatever happened with this invisible stalker thing? And we're like, nothing. It's a great time to roll it out. So it's a joke. It's like an April Fool's joke, kind of, because it's invisible. I mean, it is an invisible stalker. It's invisible. But at the same time, it's kind of awesome. So, but we're not going to sell it in the store because it's invisible. But it makes perfect sense for, I mean, hey, I have actually supported the idea of a pet rock as a creature companion. But, this even beats the pet rock in terms of uselessness.
I don't know. A pet rock would be
Yeah.
cool, too, though.
It would.
But the pet rock might be mistaken for an earth elemental.
Well, see, we already have those rocks in that one quest. All we got to do is miniaturize them. No, it's okay. So I was like, well, what are we going to do with this thing? So we were thinking, well, hey, 10th anniversary, I wanted something I could just sort of give out, and this is a perfect thing. So throughout the month of February here, I'm going to be giving them out through like in-game events, on the forums, social media. I'll hook up. I can hook up you guys for sure. I'll hook up our fan sites and podcasts, and like I say, I'll give them basically as many as I can create and give out. I will be creating and giving out, and so just kind of a fun little anniversary thing we're doing. And so yes, Lessa, I can absolutely get you the hookup.
That's what I'm talking about.
So here's my question: did the Magna Fiendling turn invisible?
I think it's actually based on the air elemental. So I think like the core. I mean, before it was invisible, it was an air elemental, like at its base, and then they turned it invisible and did that sort of thing. Because the dances, which again you can't see, but you can push the button to make them pretend like it's doing something. I believe it's the air elemental dances. So it's an invisible creature companion, and it's renamed the invisible mini stalker.
That's too cool.
And all the tricks in that do work. So like you can like the kind of sparkly trails, those actually look kind of cool on it because you could, if you want to be a sparkly vampire, you can now have a trail of sparkles.
No, vampires do not sparkle. We're gonna stop that right now.
Well, because I know you're all excited about Ravenloft, and so
Well, okay, I'll give you that much, but no sparkly vampires.
You didn't hear? I heard Strahd sparkles in 5th edition.
Oh, that's my worst nightmare.
I'm kidding. So yeah, I do have a contest. I'm going to be giving them out tomorrow. But if you don't get into the contest, or if you did miss, I gave them out sort of surprise to everyone on them during the Friday live stream. So you have plenty of chance to get one. So and if you're like one of those people who's like, I have 50 plus creature companions, and you are one of our top creature companion consumers, just PM me. All right, I will get you the hookup.
We don't know anybody who that would be.
Me.
You don't count.
I own all the creatures.
All of them?
Oh, yes, almost. Some
Almost.
of them I don't like the ones that fly because they kind of get in my face, but the other ones I like a lot. All the new ones. I have all the birds. I have and everybody has to have a hat. Everybody has to have a pirate hat or a top hat or something.
Yeah,
like
I actually think. I mean, yes, you'll have to get it through the DDO store or whatever, but I actually really like the top hat and the pirate hat. I think they look particularly good, kind of floating behind you with the invisible stalker name and everything. It's pretty awesome, actually. So
I try to figure out. Somehow I don't think a hat will go very well with my gelatinous cube.
you could do it. It sort of, I believe it does. It like sits in the corner, doesn't it?
Wouldn't it like fall through and eat it?
Well,
Suspension of disbelief. Is that what it is?
Suspension of hat belief, yes.
There you go.
Let's head on to our next story where the Magna Fiend is in the store is not tradable.
Yep, right. So we released the Pit Fiend Creature Companion, the Fiendlings, with update 29 here. And, or was it 29 patch 2? No, recently we released them. And they should all be unbound. All of our Creature Companion certificates in the DDO store are unbound. And that's so that people can, gift them and trade them and all that sort of thing. They're a good gift for that DDO loved one in your life. But for whatever reason, this one got out in code as bound to account. So a couple people purchased them, hoping to trade them, and then they couldn't. So we temporarily pulled it from the DDO store so that we could change its bind status, because that's not something we could just sort of set. It's actually set in code rather than, say, in the store. So we have to actually do a game build in order to fix it. And so they're going to be coming back with update 30.
Well, I hope the people who wanted it for themselves have already purchased it so that they could.
Yeah, well, if not, you'll have your opportunity in update 30. I had actually raised that question about, well, hey, could we just, because there are people who just want them for themselves and they don't care to account. But ultimately, customer service, received enough volume about it that it was like we kind of had to make a decision.
All right, and you didn't hear any screams from Bonnie Bew or anything like that, which means
I hope she got one already. I hope
What?
she got one. I hope she got one already.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure she does.
But the other Fiendlings are still available, and there was no bundle on them. They're all individual, so you can pick up the regular Fiendling and the Shadow Fiendling. It's just the Magma one's going to be back with update 30.
Okay. Then let's head into voting. It sounds like Vote DDO, the MMO game's best online fantasy game.
Yeah, I found this actually late this afternoon. I actually saw over on Reddit, I was on a subreddit for another game that I won't mention, and they were talking about everybody should go vote for this said game, and MMOgames.com is doing this little fun thing where they're trying to find the best online fantasy game. And I went over and looked, and lo and behold, DDO is on the list. So I tweeted out on the DDO Players Twitter that everybody needs to go vote for DDO. It really means nothing. It's just a fan-voted thing where everybody just goes and clicks and votes. But it's kind of cool to see DDO on this list. There is a ton of other games on here.
Yeah, it's a rather large list.
Yeah, it is. And there are some games on here that I personally have never heard of before. But so just everybody that's listening that listens to the podcast, you need to go vote for DDO.
Cool.
And I'm trying to find it on the list now to see how many votes. Looks like 17 right now as of this recording. So
I've recently been talking to MMO Games a little bit. They got on our radar a couple months ago because they were ramping up their reporting efforts and all that sort of thing. So we got them sort of set up to receive information. We'll probably end up doing some kind of 10th anniversary interview with them on that too. So
awesome.
Cool.
So yeah, the link will be in our show notes for this episode. So go vote for DDO.
I'm trying to figure why Final Fantasy has so many votes in this.
Because that game is huge right now, Pineley.
Tells you how much I knew about that.
People are loving the new version of that, the new MMO that came out of that.
That's 15, isn't it?
I think it's 15 or 15. I think it's 15, but yeah, it's
it
huge.
says 14.
Oh, 14?
Oh, it's 14? Okay.
Sorry.
I don't play it, so I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's because I know a lot of people I follow on Twitter play it, and they're always talking about it. And yeah, that's a pretty big MMO right now.
Okay, I guess I didn't know that there was a Final Fantasy MMO. That shows you how much I knew about it.
Poor Pinely.
Oh, well. Let's then head into the store sales. Anything interesting on sale this week? Obviously not Magna Fiendlings.
No, but other cosmetics are. You can get cosmetic hats, helms, and headwear, I should say, at 20% off. The Jeweler's Toolkit and the Augments, also at 20% off. The free sample of the week through February 11th will be the Bell of Opening. Use the coupon code that you can find on the show notes. You can get 1 bell per account, so choose wisely.
That's one of our better free samples. If you don't have a rogue character or someone with a knock, you really want to take advantage of this coupon because it'll open a chest or a locked door or whatever while you're soloing. So really handy.
I think my ranger would really love one of these things. So that's the one who's going to get it. Obviously not on my artificer.
I always get them from my warlock all the time. I'm like, oh, another Bell of Opening, awesome.
Well, let's head into our site news, and we'll begin with our screenshot of the week. And this week, it looks like that Drac is with his favorite fiend.
I am just kind of hanging out, just seeing what's up.
Waiting for them to have a pet version of her, right?
I'm so hoping.
Right.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. Because Cordovan called me out on my poll this week. We'll talk about that.
Let's go to the poll now and reorder things a little bit.
All right, let's do that. The poll this week that we had was, what creature companion would you like to see next? And I got this idea because, of course, we had the Pit Fiend that came out. So I listed a bunch of creature companions that we would like to see. And I knew the way I was listing them was technically not correct. And on the forum post I put, Cordovan called me out.
Oh, no. I don't remember that. Sorry.
What did you do?
Yeah, well, basically you just said that, you don't release creature companions of bosses.
Oh, right. Okay, I was calling you out. Yeah. I was trying to provide information there.
Yeah. No, I was just giving you a hard time. Yeah, and I knew that when I made the poll, because, technically Militia should be a succubus.
Right.
But, Lady Ball, is not actually Lady Ball. But so I just went with the, in-game, boss names, which I knew when I made the poll, I knew I should have changed it. But I just thought it was funny when I read that today. I was like, oh, Cordovan's calling me out on my poll.
Right. Yeah, it's sort of a lore thing, right? Because if it's an NPC name, then there's theoretically only one of them in game. I mean, yes, you may face them in several dungeons or whatever, but technical lore-wise, there's only one Eritreikos, there's only one Militia, so we can't have a Militia creature companion we give a succubus. We don't have a hairy creature companion. We have a pit fiend, that kind of thing. So
right.
Yeah.
But Militia was the number one vote, as it should be, with 44% of the votes. We had a total of 87 voters. Lady Vol was 11%. Jeets only had 10%, which that surprised me.
Huh.
I figured there'd be more people that would vote for Jeets.
A Jeet sling?
A Jeet sling. And see, Lessa, this is when you should chime up.
What, a pet halfling? You don't have one of those already?
No, we're not as lucky as you to have one like that.
Yeah, Saba Jade follows me around. I just thought she was my creature companion.
Well, see, I suppose that I could just bring out that free cleric that you get from some free order. Have her follow me around. That would be my halfling companion.
So which creature companion do you want?
Are you talking to me or him?
Well, all of you, I guess.
Of course, I'm succubus.
I like the pet rock idea, but I also like that
right?
a pet bush. Those,
yes.
those bushes that are kind of alive at the end of Grim and Barrett.
Totally.
Yeah.
Those
should come in a pack together, and the pet rock would be so easy to do tricks for because you play dead. It doesn't do anything.
Right.
It's already playing dead.
I like the bush idea. That's a good one. The shrubbery.
That would be pretty cool, actually. And Chris Perkins from Wizards of the Coast did kind of approve of that idea.
Yeah.
Because Bonnie tweeted that, and he did. I can't remember if he favorited it or he responded to it. Chris Perkins did do something to her tweet. I'll have to ask her exactly what happened, but yeah. Shrubby would be good. And Maximus Flame in the chat is asking, what about cloned versions of the bosses, though?
Cloned versions?
Yeah.
I don't think...
maybe theoretically you could do like, this is an illusionary militia or something like that. But I don't know.
Yeah,
we might not get it approved.
The trouble with illusions of bosses is that demons tend to be attracted by their... I would say the illusion, they'll think that you're being disrespectful of them and will attack you or something like that.
See, I really want to have creature companions so that you could have an Iron Defender out with the Iron Defender puppy. You know? You could have the kobold with baby kobold, that kind of thing. So.
Oh, so cute.
And also on the forums in my post about this, you said, and I want to see if you'll actually break some news now, or you probably won't, but I'm going to ask you anyway. You said that you knew one of these that I had listed was actually going to come out soon.
Oh, yeah, that was the Invisible Stalker.
Oh, okay.
Because I was in the poll.
Oh, yeah, it was technically. So, Yep. Darn, I was hoping.
Wait, which one is the Invisible Stalker?
The Stalkerling that we just talked about.
No, I mean in the poll, I don't see a.
Oh, it was in the poll, wasn't it? No, it was in the thread. It was in the thread.
Yeah, it was in the threads.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, speaking of thread, we seem to have a few respondents here. Like Jeff Hanna says, I want one that will gather things that have fallen on the ground automatically.
I like that idea, actually.
See, they deliberately don't interact. They only interact with you client side, right? I mean, other people can see them just through some trickery, but they're not physically present in the dungeon, and that's so that we don't have issue with light sources or physics or There was a concern, of course. Hey, creature companions, what if they're going to cause lag? Well, they can't cause lag because they physically don't exist in the dungeon. So.
Oh, I guess I didn't realize that. I didn't know they actually didn't physically exist.
Yeah, so that's why they can't have effects on them, and they can't provide pick up things or things like that.
Oh, okay.
And Drac, what did Gary say?
He said Militia is the obvious choice, but he would also like to see a Lord of Blades or a Storm Reaver.
Yeah.
All right. And
Warforged Titan's actually been one that we've heard for quite a while now. People would like that, so who knows?
Yeah, Curtis answers his in one word: Tiamat. Now that would be having a nice one to follow you. Probably run a chromatic dragon following you all about.
Yeah, I'd like even has been very much in favor of the Dretch, and I think the Dretch would be a good creature companion too.
Oh yeah. Out of curiosity, is Tiamat in the game yet?
No.
Okay. So, Lessa, what does Livmo say?
She's probably not in the show notes.
What?
Yep.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She's not the show notes. Libmo said, no. I checked other. I would like to see a 2-for-1, a mini Libmo with a diadem or an arty dog, because Livmo needs clones.
And Frogger1234 says, since Update 30 is going to give us the opportunity to defeat some devs in battle, there should be a dev creature companion.
That'd be hilarious. Yeah. We could hook up the Parrot, audio API and can just go soon.
Oh, that would be great. RD2 Plays said, this poll is rigged. Militia, of course.
And our favorite stalker, Endrique, says, I want to see a pet snake. Bring on the python. Perhaps a Yuan Ti will do. Perhaps.
Well, we have Yuan Tis in the game, so we're halfway there.
Okay.
Yurlock says a giant... Okay, now I really liked his idea of this. A giant D20. The emotes would be save versus death, fail or save, attack, fumble, attack, critical, fall off the table, stuck on a crack in between numbers, spin in place, and the roll of shame.
Yeah.
That was a really good idea.
Yeah. I don't think that would, again, get past the lore gods there. But we do have a D20 in-game, so maybe.
And Lori McGee says, Griffin.
Rest says the Mudman. When they are close to death and tiny, they are quite adorable. Although a tiny Merilith would be pretty awesome, too.
And Maximum Flame says, Militia, definitely. Also, being a Leo, I would have to say a lion. No, a dire lion with militia.
And Lightheart says, I selected Elminster because as a creature companion, he would be just about as helpful as he has been as an NPC.
And then you could name him Pikeminster, and he could follow you around and do what he's doing already.
Ooh, ouch.
Oh, I know. It's so true, though. So true.
At least gives you an end reward.
Yes. And even though it says dretch, 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 dretch.
Yep. Even though they have, occasionally, reached out to me. I've grouped with her sometimes. Dretch. She's right, though. Dretch would be an awesome creature companion.
And it should say glarb and glurk. And it should eat my sorrow and drink my pain.
That would be pretty cool, too. So, yeah, there was actually some pretty good. And then there was some other, which I didn't have time to go on the forums, the thread I posted. There was some pretty good things in there, too. So go into the fan site section on the forums and look at my post for this and read. Some of them are in there, too. There were some really good ideas.
And now, cue the music, Drac.
Oh, God, you're going to make me play it?
The official T-shirt is here for the upcoming Gnomes.
Gnomes are coming. They're coming for you.
Yes, official Gnomageddon T-shirts now available.
Yeah, that's right. You too can have a Gnomageddon T-shirt. That's all I got to say about it. Is just Gnomageddon T-shirts are out there. Go buy one.
I was looking at it before the show. That looks pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know where the art came from. It's pretty cool, though.
Anding, who is actually the lead director of the Players Alliance, the Alliance site that we're on, he's the one that found the artwork. Maybe he'll say something in chat, because I see he's in chat where he'll find them. But yeah, he showed me a couple different options, and that was the one that I liked the best. Because it looked kind of like creepy a little bit in a way. It's kind of a creepy gnome. Oh man, I said it. I said the word.
Gnomes are coming. They're coming for you.
Tricked myself into saying it this time. So yeah, but you can get them in men's and women's. So you too can have a Gnome Again shirt and then try to explain that to people when they ask you, what's your shirt mean?
That's
It's a pretty great shirt. I may need that MP3 file as well.
Okay.
For reasons.
For reasons?
For reasons of annoying the dev team. Yep.
Well, I can make that happen for you. I will send it for you. So yeah, but these shirts will kind of help support the network as well. So we just didn't make just a funny shirt to go along with our joke. It actually will help the site and the network if you guys do decide to purchase one. And the link is in our show notes for them.
Now, I have a question for Drac, and that is, how did your trip to Winter Fantasy go?
It was wonderful. It was a great time. That is always a great convention. Fort Wayne is an awesome city, and the people are always nice there. And I did have a chance to sit down with Mike Merles and Chris Lindsay from Wizards of the Coast. We had a nice little, ended up to be about 30-minute or so chat. We covered quite a few things. We talked about DDO, talked about Ravenloft, of course, the Dungeon Master Guild, and some various other things, which that interview is going to be out tomorrow. It's going to be played, or it's going to be included in our podcast feed, and it will also be on our YouTube feed as well. But for those listening to the show live tonight, after the show is over, if you guys would like, I can play that interview tonight if you want a sneak peek of it. So you guys can just let me know in chat if you actually want that to play at the end of the show, and we can make that happen. But Winter Fantasy was fun. Played a ton of board games, because the nice thing about Winter Fantasy is the Gen Con board game library is there, and if you're not familiar with what that is they have, I can't even tell you the number of games available. There's probably at least 1,000 games or more that you can just go. You actually have to get a card for the Gen Con library, and then you pick out your game, you go up, they scan it, they scan your card, and you go down to a table, and you just sit and play the game. So it's a good way to check out new board games to see, if you like them, if you're going to buy them. So My friends and I that were there, we played a ton of those. And I also got to check out the Pathfinder Adventure card game. Did a learn to play that with the folks from Paizo. That was a ton of fun. That is a pretty fun game. So overall, it was great. And it was a great time chatting with Mike and Chris from Wizards as well.
Then let's head from the dungeon, where terror is coming to Pathfinder in July.
It is not just D&D that is getting some scary stuff. The Pathfinder RPG is also going to be releasing their horror adventures, and that is going to explore the darker side of Pathfinder. It'll bring out new rules for horror-themed character archetypes, corruption of the body, and of course the corruption of your soul, insanity, and madness. It's going to be a full 256-page hardcover sourcebook for your Pathfinder RPG games. Coming out late in July. They didn't actually have a date quite yet, but as soon as we get the official date for it, we will be sure to pass it on. But my guess is it'll probably be near the end of July because Gen Con is the first week of August, so I will guarantee you it's going to be before Gen Con, so they'll have them there. Can't see Paizo not having that out and ready for Gen Con.
Their vampires sparkly?
No, they are not. See, I'm telling you, vampires do not sparkle.
Is their book sparkly?
Forget everything you know about sparkly vampires. Sparkly vampires do not exist. I have the same argument with one of my friends because he always asks me if I'm sparkling, and I tell him, no, I do not sparkle. Vampires don't
What
sparkle.
is this thing about? What is this whole thing about sparkling vampires? Is this
Twilight.
This Twilight.
I blame Twilight. Edward Cullen, I blame
I know
him.
what you're really angry about, Drac. And
Okay.
I'm angry about it too. I mean, why would she go with that creepy Edward when the other guy is right there and so much hotter? You don't have... No, shh, it's okay. You don't have to say another word.
It's because he's immortal, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he looks creepy, because he's immortal.
See, the problem with being in a lifelong relationship with an immortal guy is your honey-do list never gets done. Because he just puts it off forever.
Until you're dead.
It's like, you're going to die, but I'm not, so I'll do that later.
Neverwinter, the Maze Engine expansion, is coming this spring. And Maze Engine?
Yep, that is the name of the new expansion that is going to be coming to the Neverwinter MMO. The adventurers in Neverwinter MMO have quelled the efforts of Demigorgon though some demons will continue to make their way into the Forgotten Realms. Two of the main demon lords that you're going to face, of course, the ever-popular Orcus, and I always pronounce this name wrong. I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to pronounce it. I always say Behemoth, but I don't know if that is because I've heard it pronounced a different way.
Baphomet?
Bahamut, I think, right?
Yeah, see, I've heard it that way, and I've heard it another way. So anyway, it's a demon name. Who knows how it's pronounced?
Are you saying that the P and H are pronounced separately?
Yes, that's how I've heard it pronounced.
Okay. That's rather cruel to someone in English who instinctively
Yeah, exactly.
will turn the P and H into a single sound.
But those two demon lords are going to be raising some problems for adventurers in the Forgotten Realms. And of course, everybody's favorite Drizzt Do'Urden is going to be around to help you try to stop them. Neverwinter, the Maze Engine, will also bring some new gameplay updates, including a new campaign, and the Stable, which is a system that will give further customization to the mounts options inside of Neverwinter. And look for that coming in PC later in the spring, and the Xbox version will soon to follow that a little bit later on. Usually, I think Xbox is usually about 1 or 2 months behind the PC version most of the time, so I'm assuming this is going to be the same way too.
Well, I'm unlikely to be playing that much since I don't do Neverwinter too much.
Well, see, but now you have a new expansion to check out, finally.
To skip?
Well, okay then.
Well, it's
moving on.
It's based on a certain edition that's not to be named.
Yes. Right. We all know my big problem in Neverwinter is that.
All right, let's head on to the tabletop, where Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shadow of the Past board game coming out in July.
And how cool is this? It's about time we get a cool Ninja Turtle board game. I love the Ninja Turtles.
I mean, there hasn't been one?
Oh, there's been several, actually. but there hasn't been one for a while. But this one is going to bring some of the most iconic Ninja Turtle enemies for you to face, and it's going to be a miniatures game, and the scenarios are going to be designed to tell a continuing story that is going to mimic what is happening in the current cartoon and comic book series. The scenarios will be designed for 2 to 5 players, and they say should take about 60 to 90 minutes to play to completion.
I noticed it's by IDW Games. Is that the same group that does the comics?
Yes.
So do you think it's the IP of the comics and the board game?
It is, yes.
Cool.
Yep, it's actually the IDW Games is an offshoot of the comics, so yes. And it's officially licensed, and that's why they're going to kind of mirror, and they said what's going to happen as well, too, is stuff that happens in the comics, they can release new scenarios that will mirror what's happening in the comics to the game even after the game is out.
Oh, and so it looks like it's also kind of a lopsided PvP where one group is the enemies and the other group's the heroes.
Yes, correct. And of course, this is actually going to be kickstarted, is the way they're initially going to do this. And there is an awesome, if you're willing to shell out, I want to say it's like $250 is the goal for that. You can get your game box that looks like a pizza box, which is amazing. So we will have more information on this soon. The Kickstarter is up now. Let me look and see. It was when the time I posted about this was last Friday. It had almost met the goal, which I'm sure they probably have now. Yes, it's way over the goal now. They're at 396,000 of the 250 that they wanted. So 16 more days to go to get in on the rewards on the Kickstarter if you want. But this will be in retail as well, and they're thinking the retail is going to be between 50 and 60, which is about normal for a retail board game these days.
All right, then let's head into a card game, the Sentinels of the Multiverse card game. It appears that they are reaching the end of their storyline.
It is, unfortunately, but they kind of knew this was coming. They had planned for this for a while. They had said they had really just reached the end of the storyline that they wanted to do in the Sentinels of the Multiverse game. So they are going to be coming out tomorrow, actually, which we will post about when it goes live, a Kickstarter for the Sentinels of the Multiverse Oblivion Aeon, and that is going to be the final expansion that is going to end the storyline and, unfortunately, end the card game as well. And that will include some limited edition foil variant packs, the collector's case, and much, much more. But unfortunately, if you were a fan of the Sentinels of the Multiverse card game, which I have played several times because one of my friends own it, and it is a fun game, and it's also available on Steam as well. But unfortunately, it's going to come to an end.
Well, we'll see. It's a pretty successful board game, right? So, I mean,
And it's funny you say that because that's the same reaction that I have when I read this. I'm like, there's no way they're going to end this.
I mean, they'll end this 5-year story arc.
Yeah, they might have a new storyline or
Right.
something like that, or something similar.
Exactly, but according to them at this point, there's no plans to do that. But I agree with you, Corda, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be something Sentinels of the Multiverse coming out. Because it's way too popular, and let's just be honest, it, I think, brings in some good money for them. So I can't see them ending it, but I guess we'll see.
Who knows? They might just want to make sure that they don't wait until it's outlived its welcome.
Or maybe they've got another game that they also have large plans for that they
Yeah.
want to kind of shift
That's
to.
what I
So,
think, is that they already
that's
have
right.
something in the wings getting ready to come out that after the success people will get excited about because of their success with Sentinels of the Multiverse. We'll see. Let's head into last week in DDO, and Draculetta, what were you up to?
Well, not a lot, seeing I was gone all weekend, but I did manage to get some playtime in. The biggest thing I did was Sunday night, we had our fan service experiment that we had our weekly, well, I guess our bi-weekly playthrough of that. We did the Smuggler's Warehouse, did it on Elite, And I got to count gems in that, so it was awesome.
And he used his mic. I was so proud. He was like, 1 gem. Ah, ah, ah. 2 gems. It was super cute.
I did. Well, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, I didn't tell anybody I was good, because usually I was just typing in the guild chat where we RP. I haven't used my mic, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to freak people out and use my mic this week.
So here's my question on that. How, it's a great concept, but I can't do the voices. So can you do a character without really being let's say I wanted to be
Yeah,
Christopher
absolutely.
Walken, but I can't walk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You just have to make sure people understand that's what you're doing. Usually you just put a little tagline in your bio or whatever. And then whenever they read whatever you're writing, they'll do it in their own little Christopher Walken voice.
Yeah,
you should see Bonnie B. Dean from Supernatural. It
It's
is
awesome.
the best
It is.
thing ever.
It is.
I've been thinking about it because I've been hearing you talk about this concept, and I think it's awesome. It seems like so much fun, but I don't know who I'd be. Although maybe I would be Captain Kirk. I could maybe
my
do that.
God.
So,
Well, Captain Kirk, you have to be careful. Since Captain Kirk always speaks in iambic pentameter.
You would just put period, couple words, period, couple words to.
Yeah, I actually tried to, and I will admit a couple times when I was doing the voice, I kind of forgot to do the accent I was doing. So I found it really hard. It's much easier to type in roleplay, I found out. So, but it was a fun time. Well, that part was a fun
except
time.
we were dying and you're counting soul stones.
Yeah. So finally I was just like,
Whoops.
1 soul stone. Two soul stones.
We might lose our share before long.
Oh, yeah, it was bad. We did Dead Predators, and
Yeah.
of course, Lessa being Lessa. Oh, we'll go on an Elite. We wouldn't have problems. Yeah.
Yeah, we had horrible problems.
We
It was bad.
almost had a total party wipe.
Yep, and I ran. Gizix ran from the quest with his little kobold tail between his legs.
And then we did Rest for the Restless. Did that on Elite, and I had my 3rd death. Yay, go me. So I have 10 more left. Awesome. So yeah, so I got to count a bunch of soul stones. It was awesome. And then the only other thing I did was with you, Pine Leaf, so we'll let you talk about that. Because since I was at Winter Fantasy this weekend, not a lot of DDO time.
Very well. We went into the Storm Horns, and this time we did Breaking the Rank. Well, first off, we went through that long trek from the 2nd checkpoint, the northwest teleport spot, all the way down to the dungeons that you have down at the other end, and we managed to eventually make it there after a long trek and did Breaking the Ranks and then a break in the ice. And, well, let's see, anything to say other than the fact is, well, of course, there was, I guess we saw that coming eventually.
I'm not looking forward to what we're going to have to do this week, though.
Yeah, that's the question. Are we actually going to try that?
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe Lessa and Cordovan can tell us how bad we're going to die in it.
on what goes up?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna die.
Elite.
I'm pretty
fun.
sure I
It's
Twitch
easy.
it.
Run it on Elite. Yeah, it's easy. Just run it on Elite.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
cakewalk. No problem at all.
Good to know. Run it on Elite. Check. Got it. Yeah, I told Pine Leaf when I read what quest was next, I'm like, okay, I've heard bad things about what goes up. Because I've never done it, so it should be interesting.
Oh, Twitch it, please.
Twitch it? You
I
want
want
me
you to Twitch it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Wednesday night, I'll be on
Yay.
Twitch with what goes up. And you can see us die a
And-
horrible death, more than likely.
And I know what's going down.
Our horrible,
Our hit
painful
points.
deaths.
Our hit points are what's going down.
So,
All right, and-
look for that. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll get the tweet that I go live on Twitch. So there you go. You can
Right.
see us make fools of ourselves, apparently.
Then on my Ranger, I was doing my recording, and my recording session this week was for the Catacombs, so I had... But since last week I had done the quest leading up to it, so all I managed to get to do this week was within the Catacombs doing the Crypt of Gerard Dryden, and it was basically a skeleton hunt. He goes shoot, and since I'm the arcane archer and I had the item on that turns your arrows into doing all 3 types of basic damage, so it's like
Isn't that handy?
Oh, that is so handy when you're fighting skeletons.
I love that enhancement. It's so handy.
Yeah, so I had that enhancement plus the one that's turning it into effectively a magic missile on top of it. So
It sounds like you're liking the Ranger so far then?
oh yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with that. And I did not get too much other time in the game because I've been playing. I was playing a lot of catch up this week on Lotro, so therefore I didn't get too much time for DDO. But I did get some time in bringing back out the Castle Ravenloft board game. It's been a few months since I've played it, so I brought that back out and I was playing the first two scenarios again. And as I'm doing it, I'm thinking that maybe I could see if I could create 5th edition versions of each of the basic characters and see how they play relative to the ones that are already in the game. Is, if I gave them abilities that they would have in 5th edition instead. And would I die faster? Will I survive better? And will I be overpowered, underpowered, right around the same, or what?
And spoiler alert, how'd that work out?
No, that's the next plan.
Oh,
I'll be doing for next.
I see.
Report on this next week. Because I just came up with this idea pretty much today as I was finishing up the second game. So I just have one room because I just got to the chapel, and I'm in this big fight that you got as a result of that. And when I finish with that, then I'll start making the characters. So then let's head into Lessa. Lessa, what have you been up to?
I pugged over the weekend.
It's
part of my therapy. I know, right? It's part of my therapy. I have to pug. I'm supposed to be pugging every week, but I hadn't been.
I thought you were just giving up happiness for Lent.
I'm
kidding.
Oh,
well played.
I love
well
it. It's so early this year. I forgot that it's Lent. Yeah.
I gave up. Well, for Lent, I gave up hirelings that were taller. Like you have to be you can only be this tall. You must be less than this tall to be my hireling. I can only use halfling hirelings until the end of Lent.
You want Lessa hireling.
Exactly.
Saba
Less
really
of a
talked
hireling.
you into that?
No, I did it as a goodwill gesture to her to show a little bit of appreciation, a small amount of appreciation for the little people. You got to give back. So there you go. So anyway, I'm supposed to pug. That as part of my therapy, so I pugged over the weekend. And this is why I hate pugging, because I have to be social and making friends. And it's very hard to be angry and antisocial whenever you do that. So anyway, I had a pretty good time. I shroud flagged with total strangers. It was great. And the best part about it was they didn't know the quest. They had never been there before. So I looked like a genius. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
You're saying you're doing this for you.
Yeah.
It's what we're learning. It's still all about you somehow.
It is somehow. It does come around back to me, even though it's somehow supposed to be for Sama Jade. I don't know.
Gotcha.
That was my weekend.
I'm just impressed that you're actually pugging that. Like, really shocks me completely.
Oh, she doesn't pug?
Oh, yeah. God, no.
I have a lot of social anxiety with pugging and like, what is happening here? But apparently it's not that bad.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, I actually do mean, hopefully no one took that as an insult, because I actually pug all the time. I'm a big pugger.
No, I'm pretty sure everybody knew that was a joke. It was just well played because it was perfectly timed.
Yeah, it was.
Good job, sir. Good job.
Is it my turn?
It is.
Okay. Yes, I actually played quite a bit this past week as well. So, ironically enough, I played What Goes Up. I got flagged this was on Thelanis. Just this past Friday, I ran What Goes Up, and then during the week, I flagged all the quests for it. On my level 29 character, we ran most of it on Epic Hard, although I probably should have done Epic Elite on the flagging quest, because we're like, well, let's just get it done. We want to get flagged, so let's just go in on Epic Hard. And then we kind of cakewalked through it, so we probably should have done Epic Elite. And then, like I said, Friday night, I ran What Goes Up on Epic Hard, again, under the theory of we'd like to actually win. And except we kind of cakewalked through it, so maybe we should have done Epic Elite on that one too. I'm playing with this is my Friday night static group, and we're on a bunch of multi-life characters, and frankly, I think we're doing really good. So we probably should have done What Goes Up on Epic Elite, but I had a great time. I really liked that quest. I deliberately wanted to run it as I was nearing cap because I just think it still has a lot of XP, especially first time bonus XP and all that sort of thing. So it was a really good way to bridge the gap between 29 and 30 to run all the Stormhorns quests, get the first time bonuses and all the rest. And had a really good time on what goes up. The puzzles, there's like this puzzle section that I'm not going to spoil for you, but we sort of breezed through it. And
Okay, Pine
fight,
take
we
notes.
didn't do too
Puzzle.
bad, so
Puzzle.
You're on
Yeah.
puzzle
That's
duty.
my section. Yeah.
It's not even so much a
Be
puzzle
ready.
as almost like kind of a puzzle maze sort of thing. You'll see when you get to it, but it's
Oh,
pretty cool.
maze. Now
Yeah,
we're in trouble.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not. I guess it's kind of maybe I'm explaining it poorly, but
Well,
the end fight
we'll
actually
find out
went
on
good,
Wednesday.
and still, I just think the very end of what goes up is really successful. It's one of our more successful things we've done, I think, in recent years. It just rocks. So had a lot of fun. Got skunked on loot though. So
Welcome to
unfortunately,
my world.
Yeah. But I did get one of the new. I can't remember what the skirmishers necklace. Is that what they are? Necklaces? I can't remember what they are now. But I got that. It was pretty cool. But I capped out. I capped out right on cue at the end of what goes up. So
Oh, awesome! Congrats.
yeah. So that's on my. This will be the third life on the character formerly known as Mock Duck. So he's rocking. I took the Scion of light spell power. I can't think of the name of it now. Is that Elysium? Whichever one it is, it gives you the super light spell power. And I have a twist of a plus 30 light spell power, and just my light spell power is out of control, and I'm a rogue favored soul. And my divine punishment is critting for more than 1,000, so not doing too bad there. So, and I'm critting a lot because I've also increased my percentage chance to crit on it. So he's rocking right now. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to TR him again, but I might epic reincarnate him just for a few past lives. Otherwise, this I guess was just a little over a week ago, so I don't know if it counts. But I've been running on Argoness, and I've been running Legendary Shroud with a guild that PM'd me on the forums to say, hey, we need you to see the lag here. This was like say a month ago. And so I ran with them a month ago, and then not yesterday, but a week ago yesterday, I ran with them again after the patch because we made some changes to improve, some lag performance with some of the enhancements that were erroneously sacking their benefits. So I went in there again on Legendary Hard on Argonesson on the Shroud and did good. And it was a night and day difference in terms of the game performance. I can't say it was completely lag free in the Shroud. There's still that strange sort of loot lag that you get at the end of part 1 in that, but it was dramatically improved from what it was pre-patch. So hopefully we've made some progress there. Otherwise, let's see, the live streams have mostly been on Orion and running Reaver's Refuge quests, getting ready for Stealer Souls, and that was just based on a request in the live stream, so I did that. And otherwise, I put in a bunch of time in the Midwinter Festival because I had some cosmetics that needed things. So I went and ran that a whole bunch. So, pro tip. If you are just kind of looking towards the end, and like if you want to get a plus 10, the plus 10 scrolls from the Midwinter Festival for like fire resist, cold resist, you have to get a really high score. I think you have to get like 1,000 plus. But if you don't care about that, you just want the 1357, you can kind of just sort of breeze through and cycle through over and over and over again. Because even if you get like 100, which you'll get from beating the timer, you'll still get something. Like at the 1s and 3s, that's a good way to pick up your 1s and 3s and low-level glaciations. And then usually mid 4 to 600 is a good way to get the 5 and 7s. And so I've just kind of ran that over and over using the free tokens I got as a VIP a bunch. And I ended up with so many extras that I seeded the Thelanis auction house, the Plat auction house, because I can't use the shard one. So if you purchased a scroll for 10,000 plat on the Plat auction house, so say sometime over the weekend, it was probably one of mine. Because I literally had dozens of them, and I was like, well, the festival's ending Monday, I've got what I want, let me just be Mr. Generous and drop it on the auction house for people still looking for that one scroll. So there you go. Otherwise, again, this was not last Saturday, but the Saturday before, so maybe a little over the scope of a week. But I had a big board game day. and I got to break out 3 board games of mine that I had not had the chance to play yet. One of them was King of New York, which I just love.
It's awesome. I love that game so much.
Good. Yeah, it's such a good game. Yep.
It is so well designed.
It's like King of Tokyo, but it has a few rules to help deal with some of the I guess, rules issues that King of Tokyo had. It's a little bit more strategic, a little bit more complicated, but not that much. And that's by Richard Garfield, who did like Magic the Gathering and all that. So if you like good, balanced game rule sets, check out King of New York. Also played Once Upon a Time. That's a card game which you're building a story together. Basically, you have these story cards, and one person starts telling a fairy tale, and you can interrupt with your cards. Like your card might say prince or cave or whatever, and if the person before you talks about a cave, you could say, well, interrupt, and you play your cave card, and then you take over the story, and the object is to get rid of all the hand cards in your deck. And then finally I also played Lords of Scotland, which is a really great card game where you're sort of it's a multi-phase card game. It's basically 5 rounds where you're building up your army, and then at the end of that 5 circles around the table, whoever has the highest army gets to pick sort of points, and you're building up points. It's a really cool game. If you like card games that are a little bit more on the hobbyist complicated side, check that one out. And then finally I played Ladies and Gentlemen? Lords and Ladies? Wish I could remember. That was not one of my games. Ladies and Gentlemen, I think is what it's called. Have you ever heard of that one?
I have. I read a review of it. I'm trying to think of who did the review. But I've never played it, and I've never actually seen it anywhere. But it sounded interesting.
It's very strange. So it's sort of Victorian era, like dapper guys and swanky ladies and all that sort of thing, or however that goes. And the guys go to the stock market and are basically picking up the pool of money, and then the ladies are owning a clothing store and picking up jewelry and dresses and all that. And the whole idea of the game is you're preparing for a big soiree at the end of the week. So the ladies are basically acquiring the items that will get you the ability to win at the ball at the end of the week, and the guys are collecting the money to buy the items. And then there's this mechanics. So the men are doing their phase and the women are doing their phase. Kind of, it's separated out. You don't have to go by sex, but it's just how the game is set up, right? Men are doing one thing, they're doing the other. And then at the end of each day, you get together and the lady's like, I need this dress. And then if you've earned enough money to buy the dress, then you could say, yes, here's the money for it, or, things like that. And it's got this kind of really strange sort of, you can kind of see what your teammate's doing, but not entirely. So you kind of work together, but you also don't quite know each other's strategy. It's a really strange game. Pretty good party game, though. Pretty good one. So I guess that was mostly what I've done in terms of DDO and board games. So it was pretty active and pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, now, Lessa, is there anything you wish to talk about?
What?
Yeah, see, I knew I was going to throw that at her. She's like, what, I have to talk?
What are you talking about? Yeah, I didn't have apparently a completely full minute-to-minute schedule over the weekend like Cordovan did.
Sorry, I pack it in, right?
Yeah, you did. Every moment is an opportunity.
Yeah, right. Hey,
every meal is a banquet.
I didn't even get into the long thing about painting my son's room and all the other housework I've been doing.
Oh my gosh, stop.
Yeah.
Stop. I can do one thing a day.
And I shovel snow.
Oh my god.
Oh, he said the S word.
Yeah. For real. What's snow?
Never
mind.
Texas, what's snow?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know about that cold snow.
It was
stuff.
really lovely weather over the weekend here, actually. No, I played I died, actually, in my Roll20 group on Sunday.
I thought you were just a sub for that.
I was just a sub, so I feel really bad about killing that guy's character. He should have showed up. Oops.
Well, that's too funny. Oops, sorry about
a dragon.
Yeah,
exactly. So now, but that guy is dropping out of the game, and they asked me to go ahead and roll up a new character.
See, I knew
to replace that character.
You would just get suckered into doing that every week.
Yeah.
You were basically doing it every week anyway.
Yeah, I was already, because someone was always not showing up.
Right,
so I ended up playing every time, but just a different character. But now I'll be able to play my own character, so I have to decide what that is going to be. I was thinking sorcerer.
What rule set are you guys?
We're 5.
5, okay. I
thought
that's what you had said one time on the Damsel show, but I wasn't sure. So what are the damsels up to? What do you got coming up for them?
Let's see. The new initiative. We're still trying to work our way through the challenges, but we've worked what we have made it to Evening Star. So we're going to be doing the Evening Star challenge set and try to finish those up in our next play session, which won't be this Tuesday, but next Tuesday.
That's on my agenda too. I love
Yep.
those Evening Star challenges.
And when you do TR, the first playthrough, you get all that good bonus XP, so it's completely worth it to run through them at least once. And it's been fun. It's especially been fun because I keep trying to teach Myth things, and she's just not having it.
I was going to say, how's that working out for you?
We're in Dr. Rushmore's mansion, and I was telling her, and I thought I was doing a good job of telling her what was going on. So we get up to the far north to Dr. Rushmore's apartments, and we're up there, and we're in the shrine, and it's like a bedroom. And I said, okay, Myth, where are we? And she goes, a bedroom. That was it. I was like, I give up. You don't know.
Oh, poor Myth.
Yeah. I tried. That's okay. She did great, though.
I hate those chaos challenges, one objective, kill someone in the bathroom.
Yeah. And that didn't work out for us. We tried to drag the guy to the bathroom, but we forgot to take all of our gear off that damages the mob when they hit you. So they beat themselves to death trying to kill us as we were leading the mob to the bathroom. So that's okay. He died early. He didn't quite make it to the bathroom.
Then let's head to Cordovan and see if you have anything else you would like to talk about, and perhaps maybe take a question or two from our audience
Sure.
if they're listening.
I'd be happy to answer any questions from the audience and chat that I can. I guess I would say this on Friday, and then again today, we've had snow days at the office. Like I said, I had to shovel a bunch of snow. I just shoveled a bunch of snow all weekend long. And we ended up getting like a foot of snow out here. And so Friday, it killed the day. We ended up having to close the office down, and then again on Monday just due to snow. So it's kind of put our schedule, 2 development days behind, which is unfortunate because we were hoping, fingers crossed, to get out our first build to Lamania for Update 30 at the end of the week here. But I don't know what our current state is now because of that. We lost 2 days of development time. So I don't know if we're just going to try to get it out, say, Thursday, Friday anyway, or maybe push it to next week. But it's coming soon regardless. So we should have our first preview of Update 30 on Lamania. Like I said, it originally was going to be Thursday, Friday, but now I'm just going to have to assume it's Monday, Tuesday, something like that, of next week,
Right.
And it's probably going to be the Gnome. I don't think we're going to be ready for the Quest yet, but I think we want to get at least one thing out for the Gnome here pretty soon, so that's coming up real soon. Otherwise, like I said, we're doing a bunch of... You're right.
You said it.
They're coming. They're coming for you.
For a moment there, I thought you missed it.
Well, it's better than calling it the G-spot. So, yeah.
Somebody listened to the end of the year show. Lessa, it's your fault.
I'm sorry.
So, we've got... I basically have a full calendar for the entire month here, which is going to be capped off on probably the 26th with a basically day-long live stream. Current plan is like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Friday, February 26th. But I'm doing contests and events, trivia, giveaways. I'm hoping to get out some kind of previews and stuff. I've been doing facts and sort of fun facts on social media all month long. I'm doing some work for Update 30 here with the thing that was on the forums and a few other things that I can't really talk about yet. And then also this past week we reset the Players Council. So the Players Council is up and running. They're pretty much all with 1 or 2 holdouts who haven't gotten back to me yet. Everyone's ready to go and already looking at, say, what are we looking at? The gnome trees, I know they got to look at, and a few other things as well, and like bugs and loot. Kind of early week, typical stuff that we've seen the last 2 years for the first week of the council, where they kind of bombard us with a bunch of, you guys need tos. And so we talk about that and all that sort of thing, too.
So when will you have the official list out?
Last Friday,
council?
except it snowed. So then I was going to do it today, except it snowed. So it's going to be tomorrow, unless it snows.
Well, it's snowing where I live, but I don't know if it's snowing where you live.
Right. It's all ready to go. I need to be in the office to access the documents to make sure I spell everyone's name right and everything. So.
And how many players are there? Do you know off the top of your head?
I invited 60. Like I say, I haven't actually gone. One of the things I'm going to do is say, have they gotten back to me? Are they in? Are they in? Are they in? Are they in? So I'll find out, I guess, tomorrow morning. But it's pretty close to 60. If there's any holdouts that haven't gotten back to me yet, I'll probably give them another day or two. Send them an email just to make sure it didn't get lost, and then I'll probably give their spot to someone else. So we should be pretty close to 60 by the end of the week here, if not exactly at 60.
Pricchiosaurus in the chat is saying it's Snowmageddon.
Yeah, right. It really wasn't that bad, although if you judging by the way people freak out about the snow around here, but it was pretty rough though, enough to shut the office down.
Well, did you get 2 feet of snow?
No, it ended up being like 1 foot around where I live. Around by the coast, they got a lot more. They tend to get more because of the ocean effect or whatever that is. So I think they did get pretty close to a couple feet. But where I live, I actually live kind of more in central Mass, and I got a flat foot, pretty much straight. So otherwise, let's see, what else can I talk about? I don't really know. Like I said, the Players Council, Lamania. I think that's really the big stuff here. Like, I guess I should mention, unless someone's got a question in chat or something.
What about the tongue-in-cheek DDO anniversary thing? Are we going to be able to beat you up in a dungeon?
Do you really want me to answer that yet? I
don't. I don't. I want to be
surprised.
surprised, but I also want to know, and I also want to see it. You know who I really want to fight? I want to fight Flimsy Firewood, and I want it to be just this crazy thing with kobolds and crystals running all around, and I want him to be at the top going, or some crazy stuff like that. And then also kill him. So
you will have to check out Update
30.
How's that for a tease?
Yeah. I know, right?
So yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's some other things. I'm looking to get some calendars out in the next week or so because I skipped the quarterly calendar this month because I got behind. And now that it was close to the anniversary, I figured, well, I'll just make them anniversary calendars instead. But I'm going to try to do what I did for the 8th anniversary and do a whole bunch of like various resolutions for cell phones and that. So. All sorts of like basically screenshots and wallpapers galore should be coming out pretty soon. And yeah.
And are you gonna do like what you did last year and kind of do like an all-day stream thing, or?
Yep. That is absolutely the plan. Like I said, Friday the 26th. I'm calling it now. We'll be doing basically 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And my goal is to try to rope in as many developers past and present that I can. Like some of the people are still in the building, like Flimsy Firewood and Eladrin. As many of the old school people dating back all the way to 2006 that I can rope in. I'm going to either have them call in on Skype or stop by the office if they're still in the office, that kind of thing, and just have fun. I also maybe go a little nuts. I've been talking to customer service. I was like, well, so what would happen if I actually spawned 100 kobolds in the harbor? What would actually happen if I actually...
God. Please let them have 10,000 hit points apiece.
Would I crash the server if I basically had Beholder Frenzy in the marketplace? What would be a problem? And so they're giving me feedback as to what I maybe can get away with and what might actually crash the server, so I probably shouldn't do. And I'm going to do as much of that as I can. So, and it may not just be me doing it either. Let's just say we got plans.
All right, that's going to sound insane.
I actually thought, I was like, okay, so I'm going to have to spawn res shrines in the public areas so that people who die by accident or on purpose aren't stuck without a place to res.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to, because I do worry about the permadeathers out there. So
yeah, let them fend for themselves.
Yeah.
They have
always
permadeathers. Let them depend upon the kindness
permission.
Of strangers. Yeah.
So if I wipe out the Sublime Permadeath Guild by accident on purpose,
you know
I can
what?
say
they'll just have to
fault?
re-roll. That's right. It is my fault.
You are going to give a bounds on the dates and times for this, right?
Well, I mean, let's just say it might be live streamed at some point on Friday, February 26th.
Yeah, because the idea then is if people at least have some sort of warning, it might just
there's always going to be somebody who just logs in and doesn't know what the heck is going on. All they know is that there's a crazy devil in front of me and it's trying to kill me.
Brack Barefeet in our chat brings up a good point. At least you're doing this now and not after the G's come out. Because then it really would be Nomageddon.
Right.
Just like
Yeah.
thousands of little G's running around,
Okay.
that would be a nightmare.
I will say this for those who are listening to this, go, no, don't do it. I am going to be within limits here. Like, I'm not going to be spawning, epic elite dragons in the harbor, that kind of. So I am going to have to be kind of careful about what I can do and where I do it. So,
Where are
but I am
people's
going to
sense of
push it as much as I
adventure?
can. So we'll see.
I
And I can
remember.
also, I'm on an admin. I can go into your raids and quests. So if something weird happens when you're on that next Tempest Spine raid, it may or may not be my fault. So
That's great. I remember one event where someone who was running the event kept picking up my character and dropping her in the middle of the sky in different places. I wasn't sure whether that was a compliment or something else.
Are you the person I actually once took into House Jurassico and then spawned a bunch of trolls on and freaked you out?
No, that wasn't me, but that sounds awesome.
Oh, man. I remember once on Lamati I created a secret cow level and then took Shade into it and told him we had a secret cow level. And he didn't believe me, but it was funny anyway.
All right.
Let's just say if you've been on Lamani and seen the madness that happens there, imagine what we can do if we bring that to the live servers.
Yeah,
But you actually can do it on the live servers and probably not crash them?
Well, like I say, within limits. I've been
Right.
talking with customer service and the dev team, and I'd say, like, well, what can I do? Yes,
that
I
is
cannot
awesome.
spawn 1,000 dragons in the harbor. I would crash the server, but what are the limits? What can I get away with? What can I do?
right.
Anding in the chat has a question. He says, are there any plans to buy a loft in Baltimore for some Raven plans? He heard that there's going to be a loft apartments in 5E that might be available. So any in DDO?
You know what?
That is a rather...
Maybe a place where dead people go and it's horrific? Okay, we tried, folks. We tried.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I can't. Sorry, I'm trying to think about how I can get away with it, but I just can't.
I could kind of see the wheels spinning there. I really could. I could see him. I'm like, he's like, maybe I could say, no, I better not say that.
Yeah.
So, stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned.
Let's then head on with our show and...
Good luck, finally. Good luck.
Yes, I say, okay, where were we before they got interrupted? All right. If you would like to help support DDO Players, you go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon, and there you'll find rewards, including a mention on DDO Players news or even be a guest host with us. And do we have any iTunes reviews this week, Drac?
We do not. So people, go on iTunes and we haven't had one for a long time. And you might be wondering, why do they keep asking for iTunes reviews? Because the way iTunes works, the more reviews you have and the better the reviews are, like if they're 3, 4, or 5 stars, the better you go up in the search rankings. So if somebody would search like DDO or Dungeons & Dragons, we should pop up higher in a search result on iTunes. So that's why we would like some iTunes reviews. It would help the show out immensely to kind of get us out there on iTunes a little better. And I also had somebody send a Twitter message to me the other day asking about, we had mentioned a long time ago that we had submitted the show for Google Play. They're going to start doing podcasts. We have no updates on that as of yet. We did get approved to go on there, but they haven't added podcasts on Google Play yet. But that still supposedly is coming at some point in the future. So if you have an Android device and you use Google Play, you'll be able to get the podcast there as well without having to use any other podcast catcher RSS feed reader on Android. But yes, please give us an iTunes review. Thank you.
Very well. As for our featured comments, we already gave them in response to our poll. So let's head into our emails if we have any. But if you want to send us an email, you can send it to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You could also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, DDO Players @DDO Players, Draculetta @Draculetta_72, Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles, and you can also follow Lessa @Lessa and follow DDO
DDO Unlimited.
DDO
Unlimited is
Unlimited.
on Twitter. It's also facebook.com/DDO Unlimited, youtube.com/Dungeons and Dragons, one long word, no ampersand. We have a Pinterest page, which I think is D&D Online, and twitch.tv/DDO Stream.
And I will promise I will add all that to the show notes. I was trying to do that now, but I couldn't keep up. But they will be in the show notes when the episode goes up on Wednesday. I promise.
All right, then. The Players Alliance has 5 live shows. Every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. Every other Thursday at 9 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have XP Quest. On Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Locho Players News. Every other Saturday after Locho Players News, we have Tales of the Free Folk. And on the last Friday of each month at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Locho Academy After School. You can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Pine Leaf Needles reminding you to quest responsibly.
Wrong show.
Skirmish
Pine Leaf.
responsibly.
Poor Pine
We
Leaf
need
always,
skirmishes in DDO, yes.
poor Pine Leaf always forgets what podcast he's on. Now, which podcast is this? What do I say here?